Alright, so this is a GeoGebra file that is just a number line for points on the number line. And there are already a bunch of points on there. And if you want to just use these points, you can click on the Move tool and click on any point and drag them to a different spot. Um, Now, to make things a little easier if you're dealing with whole numbers, in the Options menu, you can select Graphics View, and under Grid, you can limit your X distance just to 1, which fixes you at whole numbers. Then when I'm dragging around, it snaps to whole numbers. The way this is created, there are points and there are text fields that are attached to the points. The labels are the text fields. So if you want to hide or show things, you have to hide or show both the point and the text field. And to do that, you go to the Edit menu and select Object Properties. And under Object Properties, you can see all the points. All these points that are in black are points that are showing. And when you hover over a point, you can see in the number line that point gets kind of highlighted a little darker and bigger. So if I turn off the points, you see each of the individual points turn off. But it doesn't turn off the labels. There are automatic labeling for points, but since GeoGebra uses a coordinate grid rather than just a single line axis, the automatic labeling labels both the X and Y coordinates, so I couldn't use automatic labeling. Automatic labeling would have turned off when the point turned off. So instead, I have all these text labels. And unfortunately, these are not in the same order as the points. But you can turn off different labels. Now, if you want to add your own point, this tool here, this first tool in the second set of tools, is Add Point To. Now you can hold down the arrow and you can see all the different options for this tool, but the Add Point tool is the one you want. And you just hover over. Now when you hover over, it's showing you what it's going to attach the point to. If you click out here, you just get a point in random space, but when you get on a line, that little box that shows up shows you that you're going to attach it to this line, and that means the point can't move off the line when you drag it around. So I get a new point, and I get its label, and it's in blue initially. GeoGebra 3, I think, doesn't let you default to different things. So if I want to modify that to a different look, then again, I go to Edit and Object Properties and go down to the L point. And so I can show the label or hide the label. And in this case, the label is the name. I can change it to the value, and again, the value becomes the XY coordinate. I could also type in a caption if I wanted to, but that caption doesn't automatically change to its value. It's just some caption, so I could call it like point, and then it's labeled with point. But if I want its value, I had to do that through a text field. And I'm not going to show you how to do that because it's a little more complicated. Um, so we'll go back to name. You can modify the points in this color. You can change it to any of the blacks. If I want it black. Under style for points, you get the size of the point. Also, you can change it when you're doing inequalities. You can change the point type to a circle rather than a point. Okay, so there may be, let's say you wanted to do an inequality right now. Now I already have a file set up, so you could just open my file, but I'll show you how to do it anyway. So if you want to do an inequality, you would do in the second thing, you want to do a vector between 2 points. Now the reason why you want to choose a vector is a vector gives you an arrowhead, whereas a segment doesn't. So I can do a vector between 2 points, and then I'll click on the start and the finish. So I'll click on L, and then say the 1. Okay, so now I have this like vector, and it's called W. And again, in the object properties list, you'll see under vector this W. Ignore the U. The U and the V is these little arrowheads on the end of the number line, so you can ignore those. So for the W, I'm gonna make it really fat, and I'm gonna hide the label. End point, I'm gonna turn off the point, so you just click on the little green thing to turn off the point, and then you don't see the end point. So if I want to move this arrowhead around, I can't move it around without the point showing. So I have to turn on the point first. Okay, then I can go to the move tool and drag that point around. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I can drag that point around. And if I wanted like a less than or equal to, I could drag the start to the other side. Drag the finish to where I want. And then I can then go back to object properties and hide that point that's at the arrowhead. Then close object properties. So that's a less than. No, again, if I wanted to do a less than, no, this is a less than or equal to, I'm sorry. If I wanted to do a less than, then I could go back to object properties, and for the L, under style, change that style to a circle. The only other thing I think that's important with this number line is this number line is fixed between 10 and negative 10. And if you want a different number line, that's a little harder to do. So I have to explain to you how this number line is created. It's got a segment between 10 and negative 10, and then unit vectors that continue on for 1 unit past negative 10 and past 10. So if you want to make your number line bigger or smaller, you have to change where these endpoints are and then change the scaling of your view to encompass the number line. If you're scaling, I'm gonna use my mouse scroll wheel right now and just scroll backwards, and you'll be able to see what happens. Oh, scroll forward. So you can see that this line continues on and on and on. So that's why I zoom it just to exactly the spot where the arrowheads end at the end of the window, so you don't see that whole line. Okay, so if I want to make it bigger, then that's what first thing I'll do is I'll zoom out so I can see more of the line. then I'm going to show A and B are those points. Okay, so I'll move A, let's say, to negative 13 and B to positive 13. Move one more. Okay. And then I'll turn off the points because I don't need them anymore. Okay. But now I want my arrowheads to end right at the window. Now I can do this with the mouse or try, but it's not very precise. So the easy way to be precise is to go to the options menu, select graphics view, and under minimum and maximum, I'll choose where the arrowheads are, the tip. So I want negative 14 to positive 14. And then I'll click somewhere else. And you see that the arrowheads then end up at the end of your window. Now to turn this into an image file, you go to File, Menu, Export, Graphics View as Picture. PNG is the norm. Okay, so here's something to know. This actually is fine right now. It's 793 pixels wide, which probably is fine. It may get reduced when it gets to the website automatically. But if that number is too small for some reason, like it's like 50 pixels, then you're going to end up with a really small picture. You can change this first number to something. So if I change it to like 5 and then click away, now you see that it just scales the whole thing 5 times bigger when this finished picture. So then I'll save that, and it'll bring up the dialog box of where do you want to save it to, and you can type in a name. I'll open up that file that I just saved. So that's what the picture looks like. So it just saves the thing in this image window. And if you were to grow your window, like that, it would save all of this white area. So that's why this window was shrunk to be so small. But you can, make it wider or smaller as you see fit.